Welcome to the Lady Landlords podcast, where we empower women to gain financial independence through real estate investing. I'm your host, Becky Nova, founder of Lady Landlords. If you're ready to buy, manage, and grow your real estate portfolio, then let's get started.
Here are the 3 things that I would do if I was ready to buy a rental property right now. So I did a training over on Monday about inspections and how I normally do our regular inspections on our rental properties. And I know a lot of people enjoy watching that and are still watching it and still asking for the video of that. So I've decided I'm gonna do just short little lives here and just share kind of how I grew my portfolio and the steps that I took to be able to scale to 17 properties. It took me about 6 years to do that. I actually got to my goal originally. My goal always has actually just been the most amount of money for the least amount of properties and really in the least amount of time, right? So it took me about 3 years and just 10 properties to be able to leave my 6-figure salary in cancer research and move into real estate investing full time. I get a ton of questions on how I did it, how I scaled. So like I said, for the next few weeks, I don't know, this is just something I decided I'm going to do now. On Wednesdays, sometime around this 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be going live right here in the Facebook group and just sharing just some fun tidbit about something that I did or a tip that really made a difference for me to be able to scale and grow and move forward with my portfolio. So if that's something you would like to join, make sure to hit that follow button next to my name so you get alerted when I go live. Like I said, I'm going to aim for Wednesdays at noon, but as many of you know, I have a little baby here at home. Sometimes nap time doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. So if I'm a few minutes late, hang on and I will get here. All right? But today, here's what we're going to talk about. Here are the 3 steps I would take before buying a rental property. Okay? Like I said, if you would like to follow along in our series, make sure to hit that follow button. Make sure to subscribe so you do get notified when we're going to be doing our next trainings here. But first step that I would do is really to assess my finances. I feel like this is something that I've seen people kind of jump in and decide that they want to be able to grow their portfolio, but they haven't really thought about the position that they're in at that time. Okay? Now, as you probably know, if you have been in the Lady Landlords Facebook community for a while, I'm a very big advocate for looking at different ways that we can finance things and being okay with knowing that there is money options out there, and there are so many different money options out there. We're actually going to be going through a ton of different ways in our upcoming Creative Financing Decoded class that is taking place on Tuesday night, April 28th. So if you have not registered for that, do put the word creative down in the comments here, and I'll make sure to get you over that link. But what I'm talking about with assessing finances is where our personal finances is. I want to make sure that before I'm going out and investing, that my basic needs are met. So I want to make sure for any of our ladies out there, there are so many different ways that we hear about through now social media, Instagram, Twitter, all these different strategies of, oh, go buy real estate without any money. Cool. Are there ways to do that? Yes. But that does not mean that you should not have any money for you. That does not mean that we should be going out and investing and doing some of these strategies, some that are more risky than others. If we don't have our emergency fund, if we're not able to pay our own bills, if we are in very heavy debt where now we're being threatened by collections to turn off services and those things, okay? I absolutely do feel that you still can invest with some debt. That's perfectly okay. There are situations where also credit score is not even important. So I don't even recommend waiting until your credit is perfect to be able to invest, because there are so many different options. And once again, we're going through those in the creative financing class. But there are so many different ways to be able to finance deals without needing to use a credit score. So that we're okay with. But when I say assess your finances, let's make sure that you first are in a stable place. Okay? Also, even with all those different creative financing options out there, there's going to be places where you're probably going to need a couple bucks. Okay, you're going to either need to put skin in the game if you're working with a partner or a private lender, or you're going to need to pay for an attorney, or you're going to need to pay for an appraisal. So even if you're having 100% financing, you're still going to need to put some funds into a place. So I always recommend that you sit there and you think about, what do my finances actually look like? Am I in a stable place? Okay, we can get the money from other places. Trust me, in this world, there is tons of money out there, and it's okay to plug into other ways to use that. But are we first taken care of? And is this a place and a time where we are okay risking the monies that we have on hand? And are we in a stable place for ourselves and our family? So I do recommend suggesting there. Now, the reason I want to talk about this in the next two steps here is because I know the term analysis paralysis is something that gets thrown around the Lady Landlords Facebook group a lot. We have women that have been here in this group, and we've had Lady Landlords now for about 6 years. And there are women that keep coming back saying, I'm going to buy. I just need to research more. I just need more education. I just need more knowledge. And that's not always the case. And this year, 2026, my goal is to help more women than ever before get into spots of action. I have helped over about 600 women in our Lady Landlords mentorship programs be able to grow their portfolio over these past few years. That's been very cool. I've been so excited to be able to do that. I want to double down on that. I feel like right now, seeing the state of our economy, seeing AI taking over a lot of jobs, I got to be honest, I think about what job opportunities are going to be available when my daughter is at that point to have a career. Are people still going to have careers? Are we going to have other more task-based or skill set type roles rather than kind of the careers as we know it and jobs as we know it now? And what I think is really cool is real estate investing. People are still going to need a place to live. Landlording is still going to be a thing that we're going to need to do. And I want to see more women take the opportunity to get into this investment, this field, this industry, whatever you want to call it, sooner than later. Because if you feel that right now things are tight with the economy, or you're not getting a raise that you expected, or now you're seeing all of a sudden inflation impacting goods that you're buying, gas prices going up, well, this is something that for a lot of women, unfortunately, if you got started investing when you wanted to, 6 months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, I've spoken to women that wanted to do this 20 years ago. You might be in a position where this time and this economy might not be hurting you as bad as you are currently experiencing. So that's why I wanted to go and share what these 3 tips look like. Now, the second place, after you assess your finances, if you look and you say, hey, listen, I have my emergency fund, right? I have access to money someplace if I'm going to need it in case of an emergency. I can at least cover my basic expenses. We're good there. I want you to sit down and really think about, what are your goals with real estate? I was talking to a woman about 2-3 days ago, and when I spoke to her, I said, what is this all for? Like, what are we looking to accomplish? And she was like, I want to buy, 5, maybe 10 more units. And I said, why? And she really didn't have an answer for me. And I was like, okay, well, why 10? Or what's the difference that has you want to buy 5 versus why you would want to buy 10? Because to me, there's a very big difference between 5 or 10, right? Like I said, it took me 10 units to be able to retire from my day job. I currently have 17 units. I don't think I'm ever going to own more than 20 units. I am not looking to buy all the units. I am just looking for enough cash that I can go and I can enjoy my day, my life, my family. That's really all I kind of need. That's for me personally. But when I asked her, what would be the difference of knowing if she needed 5 units versus if she needed 10 units, she actually didn't have an answer to that either. So I want to make sure that we're going out there and doing things intentionally. We probably have families. We probably have jobs. We possibly have partners. We have other things going on in our lives. If we're going to take on real estate investing, we should not be doing this as also another 40-hour-a-week job. Real estate investing should be something that should be fun. It should be something that should be on the side of something. And it's really great because we can do this in a much more efficient way. And it really only takes a few hours, right? Even when I was scaling, it was only a few hours a month that I was spending growing my portfolio. Now with 17 doors, I'm spending only a few hours managing my properties. That's it. This is not something that should be consuming your life. And if it is, I encourage you to really kind of go back and figure out where it is that you're spending all your time. And let's focus more on some of those action-oriented spaces. But if you don't have your goals, if you don't know what you're looking to accomplish with this, you're going to be spinning your wheels. And I think that's where a lot of women get stuck at analysis paralysis, because you can't make a decision on how to move forward, which is literally the definition of analysis paralysis. But you can't make a decision on how to move forward if you don't know what you're looking to get to, right? I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother, who raised me, who I grew up in her household, my grandmother loved to go explore. And we'd go when we get in a car, and she would just kind of drive around, and we would just see where the day took us. And that was okay. There was nothing wrong with it. That was intentional. But when is the last time you got into a car and just decided to go drive, right? You're probably not doing that. You're saying, I have to go to the grocery store. I have to go to my office. I have to go to the daycare. Those are the things that you're doing. So why are we not doing this for real estate? We need to be focused on what is it that we are looking to accomplish. For me, my goal was to get 10K months in real estate investing so I could look at the option of leaving my day job. My original goal was not to leave my day job. At the time, I actually liked what I was doing in cancer research. I was happy to stay there for the time being. But I wanted those options. I wanted to feel comfortable in case there were layoffs, in case I screwed up and got fired, in case that there was some reason that I was not going to be working at that job or I just didn't like it anymore. My boss changed, and all of a sudden it was just not somebody that I enjoyed in the same way and had the same relationship with. If I didn't want to stay there and I wanted to be out, I wanted to make sure that I was going to still be okay and I was going to have those finances coming in. So sit down, take 5 minutes after you watch this video and think through and just scribble on a piece of paper. What do we want out of real estate? What is your goal? Do you want to replace your job? Do you just want stability? Do we want more money to go towards income? Do we just need proof of concept? Would you be able to say, hey, I just want like $200 a month just to show me that this real estate thing is real and that I can make money from it? Whatever that may be, that's your action step for today. Just sit down for a few minutes and just think about, why are we doing this? Why are you dedicating your time to it? The third thing that I think about every single time before I buy a property is, what is my strategy? When I talk about real estate strategy, what I mean by that is, what market am I buying in? Am I buying a single family, a multifamily? Is this going to be a long-term rental, a short-term rental? Am I looking to buy a property that's going to need a ton of work that I'm going to have to rehab? Am I looking to buy something turnkey? Do I want tenants already in place so I get money on day one? No. Do I want to be able to find my own tenants and have them move in? This is where lady landlords waste so much time and money, because they'll go out or they'll sit on Zillow and they scroll and they see all these possibilities. And I know you have done this, and I know I've done this too, so I'm calling myself out as well. But I know you've done this. You go, you look at properties on Zillow, and you say, oh, wouldn't this be nice? Or, hey, I wonder if I can make money with this one. Or I wonder how this would work. But if we don't actually have the answers to what our strategy should be, we're going to sit there and say, well, this might be nice, or this might be nice, or I could do this, or maybe I could do that, or maybe I can't do that. But we don't have any clarity on where we're going, okay? Your strategy really needs to match up with your goals. That's why I mentioned my step 2 was goals. And then now, after I have my goals in place, I can really think about what my strategy is going to be able to get me there. If this is something that I am saying, hey, my goal is proof of concept, just want to make a couple $100, just want to see if this is real. I know my finances are okay. I don't know how much time I want to commit to this because I don't really know if this whole real estate investing thing is going to work out for me. Cool, your strategy might be a better placed within a turnkey type space, where then you could say, I can buy something right off the MLS that's already put in place. Maybe it already even has tenants there. But if you went and said, hey, I don't know if this is going to really be a fit for me, and you decided to just dive into a full gut rehab, and you're adding extra bedrooms, and you're at project sites and dealing with project managers on a daily basis and dragging your kids there on the weekend, and now that's consuming all your time, you're not going to like this. And that's because your goal and your strategy is just not aligned. And that's what has people quit. That's what has, we all have that uncle. I don't know why it's an uncle, but we all have that uncle that's like, oh, you should not be investing in real estate. I tried doing it back in the 60s and I lost my shirt. Okay, they probably made poor decisions. They probably didn't think it through. It's something that I want to change for you. And I want you to really make sure that you have these 3 things in place before you go out and even start looking at properties. I see people doing steps backwards very often, and it is costing them. And like I said, it's not just costing them time, it's costing them money. There was a member I spoke to last week that was saying she was so excited, and we were doing a strategy session. We were doing what's called a roadmap program with her, where I help women build out what their action steps are that they should be taking. And I have to say, the member was so excited that she set up an LLC. And she set up an LLC, and she'd been wanting to do this for years, so she had set it up years ago. And even though she didn't have a property, she still had to then file those taxes, letting them know that that LLC was still in existence. So she had costs from it, costs from setting it up, costs from her annual taxes to file that there actually was not even any income from it. And then when we kind of built out her roadmap and built out what steps she needed to take and what was the best way for her to get a rental, she didn't need the LLC. It would have been a complete waste. So not only did she spend the time researching LLCs, spend the time putting it together, spend the money on it, year after year after year, it wasn't a fit for what her strategy was. I would have rather her just skip all that, save her money, and put that into the place that actually made sense for her to go out and get a property now in 2026. So, to recap, assess your finances. Okay, if you need help with that, feel free to join our Creative Financing Decoded class coming up on Tuesday, April 28th. Second, sit down and think about what your goals are. What is the next thing you're looking to accomplish with real estate? And I encourage you to do that right after you finish this video here today. And then step 3, identify the strategy that is going to fit with your specific goal. Block out everything else and just focus on being the best and learning what you need to take action on that specific strategy. If you need support with that, feel free to reach out, book a call with me. I put my link here in the caption, and you will be able to see that down in the show notes as well. But book a call, let's have a conversation. I'm happy to walk through how we can make sure to get the right strategy in place for you so you can stop wasting time, wasting money, making the wrong decisions, going down the wrong path, and making sure that we can take action that's going to really add up to something great here in 2026. So let me know down in the comments, do you plan on buying a property this year in 2026? Or do you plan on waiting and seeing what happens in the next year? Thanks so much. Once again, please do make sure to hit that follow button and subscribe so you do not miss our next episode and our next little training here. See you all back in the Lady Landlords Facebook group.
Thank you for listening to the Lady Landlords podcast. If you're feeling stuck in your real estate investing journey, visit lady-landlords.com to book a 15-minute orientation call with me and see if you're ready to join our mentorship program. Or you can subscribe to our newsletter and join our Facebook group for exclusive real estate investing tips and offers. Invest with confidence. Become a Lady Landlord today.